Thanks for listening to the Voiceover Ladder. This podcast is not instructional, but it's a conversational pile of opinions on what has or hasn't worked for some people. It's just advice, and nothing's guaranteed. And like life, you try some things out and you see what happens. We do appreciate you listening, though, and look forward to your comments on our podcast and ideas you might have for future shows. And until then, keep on grinding.
Fiverr Talk!
It's a long way to the top, but if you take it step by step, you'll make it. Let's climb that VO ladder with our hosts, Troy Holden and Will Vincent.
All right, welcome back to the Voiceover Ladder. Great to be with you once again. This is Troy Holden, and that is...
Will Vincent. How you doing?
That is Will. All the way out in the... is that called the Midwest where you're at? Or is that just the West?
It is the Midwest.
It is the Midwest.
Canada South, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm in the frozen tundra of Minnesota.
Uh-oh. I can hear the old NFL guy. You remember that when we were younger? They would play those NFL highlight films, and it was always, in the tundra of Green Bay. I always thought if I could talk like him. But, I never could. I never could get there.
I thought you were going to go Joe Madden on me.
Nah. I used to love the guy that mimicked him. But anyway, before we get off on a tangent, we're going to we're having Fiverr open house here today. So we decided this was going to be impromptu, off the cuff. We're just going to talk about Fiverr, what little we know, and the things that we're trying to figure out. And if you're on there, I guarantee you're sympathetic. So get a box of tissues, and here we go.
Yeah, there's an awful lot to like about Fiverr, and there is an awful lot to not like about Fiverr. Where do you want to start? Which side?
Well, let me use that magic word, algorithm. I hear that so much that nobody knows what it is. And probably shouldn't, because every company has their algorithm and whatever they're doing. But I noticed today somebody had posted something about, well, go watch this and it'll explain it to you. No, it won't.
No. Bottom line is, anybody who says that they know the algorithm, they know how to get you to the top, they know how to succeed, is lying to you. They don't know. Even if you work at Fiverr, you probably don't know, because A, they're going to change it pretty constantly, and B, they don't publicize it. They don't let people know, because that's their secret sauce, right? Whatever happens in their magic little black box, that's their thing. And we also know that there's a lot of human interaction in that. They manually select people to artificially boost up. They manually assign, rising talent badges and Fiverr choice stuff to people. Yep. And that'll push you up to the first page.
Yeah, and you see it every day.
Yeah, and you could have a promoted gig once I think it was level 2 when you can start promoting. Mm-hmm. That doesn't guarantee that you're going to be like on page 1. You could be on page 5. It doesn't matter. They're going to place you where it makes sense to place you based on whatever their criteria is. And what I will say is that everything I've heard from everybody who's done promoted gigs is that even though it doesn't feel like they're getting big bang for their buck or whatever, they are getting good return. They're getting 1,000% return on investment or something like that. Most people.
Right. Yes. Somebody had posted their stock price or something showing how much it had went up. They're making money. And you know what? On the other side of it, it is a good platform. It has a lot of pluses, and it's easy to get around in. It's easy to deliver things. I mean, it's all that stuff's pretty well thought out, but it's frustrating because here's how finicky we're talking about these algorithms. Here's how finicky it is. And our favorite thing is professional American male voiceover. And that, we think that's what people are searching. So I can go in there and change one word, and I can go from oblivion to the front page. One word. I can add professional, authentic American male voiceover, or I can add middle age, and I'll come to the front. I can throw in Southern, and I'll pull 3 gigs on one page. on the front or the second page.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So
But
a lot of
we
that,
don't know what people are searching for.
right? But a lot of that you can control, right? That's going to be what you choose for your search tags, keywords, whatever you want to call them, what you put in your description. All of that stuff very much controls what you turn up on under in terms of what people search. Figuring out what people search is an art in its own, but
Right.
you have some control in that respect because, if somebody's searching for, I don't know, an Australian woman, I suspect I'm not going to show up.
Mm-hmm. However, I have done searches for Southern male, and there'll be women on the page, and usually like from Germany or Sweden. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And no offense to some people, Lord no, because I'm learning, and I'm definitely not at their level. There are very high level voiceover people who will pop up under Southern accent, and it's not even in their profile anywhere.
Right. And I think that's probably a little bit of that magic sprinkle of human interaction they're putting in,
Right.
where these people have been flagged for whatever reason, probably because Fiverr makes more money when they sell, so
Right,
that they
and they're
show
big
up more
sellers. They're
often.
all top sellers,
Right.
they're top rated sellers, so they're gonna get a little more.
So that's
They're making money
probably
for
part
them.
of it. Yeah. And that's the bottom line. Fiverr, it's in Fiverr's best interest to promote the people who make the most money because
Sure.
Fiverr gets 20%. So the more you sell, the more they make. And if you make
Right.
more money on each sale, they
Right.
make more money on each sale. It just makes sense. The nice thing, though, is that they don't just take everybody who's the top price and top rated seller and cram them all at the top all the time. They
Right.
stir the pot. They give everybody a little bit of a chance, as long as you're being active and trying, right?
Right.
If you've got an
Right.
account and you never do anything, well, you might be back on page 30.
Mhm.
Do
Yep.
something,
Right.
try.
Exactly. Exactly. I still have yet I shouldn't say I've never. I think maybe I have had one. I think I've only had one buyer request order ever since I've been on there. But because, well, as you know, when you start, what you see is crap. It's
Mhm.
all different country, different language, and people will tell you, "Well, put in anyway," and tell them you can do it in an American accent. And I did some of that, but now I kind of scroll through and I look for stuff that's more than $5, or it's whatever. I don't just jump on all of them. Now I did for a while, and maybe I should. That might help my algorithm. I don't know. Maybe I should apply for more. But you would think if you've had I can't remember what the percentage was yesterday. I took a look, but I don't have anything on there right now under a 5-star review. I have 56 5-star reviews, and like I think it said 89% evaluated or something like that. So as long as all that's good, that helps you. Those reviews are highly important. That's why we say we're going to work for peanuts to get a 5-star review until I can get to level 1 and then level 2. I've got everything to get to the level 2, but the money, and now my dollars per order is up better. So I just got to get there. It's just a constant battle and fight. But folks, there's no secret sauce. There are some things you need to do, certain like Will's saying, your keywords, your SEO, and the things that's in there, your thumbnail. Uh-oh, there's your one. Talk
Man,
about thumbnail.
thumbnails are very important. People always underestimate how important they are, and they shouldn't. I think maybe what it is people don't think like a buyer or don't go through the buyer experience. And if you don't, you need to. You need to understand what a buyer experience is, from searching all the way through a purchase. Order a logo, order something, figure out what that involves, so you're familiar with what the buyer's dealing with, and especially in terms of search and search placement and finding somebody. So if you run any search on Fiverr, you'll get a page of results or many pages of results, and there's 48 thumbnails per page. 48. And it may be fewer on the mobile app, I'm not sure, but it's still going to be a lot. If you're scrolling and you've got 48 little boxes on the screen, how do you know what to click? Well, you got to you're going to click whatever your eye is drawn to, right?
Right.
And so what you need out of a thumbnail is something bright and colorful and eye-catching that is going to stop the scroll and make people click, at least to listen to your demo or to click into your gig and read your description. And hopefully, if they click and listen to your demo, they'll click into your description. And hopefully, if they click into your description, they'll see all your pricing, they'll see what you can offer, and they'll buy. They'll be hooked, right?
Right.
I don't have current stats, but I do remember that both you and I, the conversion from clicks to orders was huge. Like massive percent, like 50% or better.
That's the hard part. If you have a good demo, your thumbnail will pull them in, you have a good demo, and if they click, you'll probably get them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think there's a very high chance you'll get the order or you'll get the inquiry or the message or something. You're absolutely right. And I'm very happy with that part. I just got to get them there.
You got to get the eyes on the page first.
Yes. And I think we've really hit on a good one there. That thumbnail, excuse me, COVID cough, that thumbnail is very important in that. And, we've helped each other. You've done some for me. I've done some on my own. I always send and ask for some feedback. All right, if you're starting out, you're just getting into Fiverr. Some of the keywords, the terms that you'll hear, you're talking about clicks and impressions and such as that. So, and you probably know this better than I do. An impression is
any time that you show up on the page. So somebody has done a search and your thumbnail shows up, or you're looking
whether they go to it or not, it was on the page,
right? Or if I believe also if you're on somebody else's gig and you show up as a recommended, other people searched, I believe those also count as impressions.
Okay. So you've impressed yourself upon somebody, and that's a good thing. But a click is if they actually, your gig comes up and they click on it.
Correct. Yep. A click is if they've clicked on the impression when it showed up on the page, they've clicked into your gig. And then
now here's $1 million.
And then an order is, obviously when they order. However, there's not a direct correlation between clicks and orders, because orders also include custom orders where somebody sent you a message to initiate an order versus ordering from your page, or when you've sent somebody an order or an offer as part of a buyer request. Right. Those also count. Right. So they may have never clicked on your gig. They may have just accepted your offer, but it's still in there. So those are skewed. Clear,
we're talking about clicking the gig, not clicking your file, not to play your demo. They're just clicking on your gig, and then it opens up your page. And then if they, we don't know, I don't know, once they go to your page, does that mean they actually played your demo or not? I don't know. They just clicked on your gig. So
not necessarily. They could just click into your gig without playing the demo. Presumably they're going to. I mean, I can't imagine somebody's going to click into your gig and not.
And they can play it without leaving that front page.
Right. And I don't think that those count toward clicks. I could be wrong because, again, nobody really knows what's going on inside Fiverr. They don't tell us.
The mysteries of Fiverr. Wow. Yeah, so if you're not on there, you're probably sitting there listening to this going, Jesus, what is all this crap?
Sounds terrible. Sounds like a waste of time. It's really not. So the real quick rundown of some of the benefits of Fiverr, if you're not on there, you probably should be. They have a built-in audience. They do all the promotion to bring traffic to the site. And then it's a marketplace of all different services. So people come and they search for what they want and they find you, hopefully, and buy from you.
Mm-hmm.
For that, Fiverr takes 20% of every transaction, right? Yep. So if somebody orders and then adds on more words and then tips you at the end, 3 separate transactions, they take 20% of each. Mm-hmm. Now, I disagree with them taking a percentage of tips. I think most people do.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, they still are maintaining all of the infrastructure. They're providing all of the traffic.
Mm-hmm.
They're providing the marketplace.
Worldwide.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
there's a trade-off, and you're gonna pay about 15-20% to an agent if you're just sitting at home and an agent is out finding your work too.
Sure.
So
Sure.
it kind of works out. The
Yep.
other part of it, though, that is a little bit disappointing is not only are they taking 20% from us, they're also charging additional fees on every transaction to the
Mhm.
buyers.
Mhm. Yeah, I saw that on the buyer side when I ordered
So,
on there.
I
I
mean, I
learned the
get it.
hard way to
They're in business to make money, right? They're not in business to
exactly.
just to get us business. So it's part of the deal, and the fees that they charge people are not ridiculous. They can look
No.
that way initially because if you're making a $5 purchase, it's like a 15% fee, or no,
Right.
30%. I think it's like a 30% fee, but that's not like exponential, right? If you make a
Mhm.
$500
Mhm.
order, you're not going to be paying $300 in
Right.
fees.
Right. Yep. It is a good platform. It gives you an opportunity to get out there and learn and do some stuff. I mean, it's some days, I don't know, you look down at your app on your phone and there's no little red number beside your Fiverr thing, and you're like, "What the crap?" "Oh, how am I going day after day and getting nothing?" And then all of a sudden you've got 5 orders or 4 orders. You just never know.
Yeah.
It's very sporadic, and they come from everywhere, and you're gonna deal with some difficult buyers that don't communicate. You're gonna deal with some that, are just jerks. They want 1,500 words for $5, and they want it today in 2 hours, and then they want three revisions. And you're going to hit some of that,
Mhm.
but for the most part, you know, 80% of the time, 75 or more, it's pretty good. They're pretty good to work with. And we're talking about percentages, and I didn't even think about it till you mentioned the 20% and stuff. I was in excuse me, I was in real estate for several years and owned a company here in town, small company, did a lot of rental property and stuff. And we didn't sell a whole lot of houses, but I had one other guy there, and he was part time. And then I sold the company to another guy, and they actually started doing a lot more sales. But in that business, you go out and sell a house, and it's 5%, 6%, whatever you get when it comes in. The broker takes half, and he doesn't do anything but process all the paperwork. He gives you a place to say you're hanging your shingle, but 50%, and of course, if you move up and you're making, go over $1 million of sales, they may only take 40 or something. They chop it down, but hey, that made me think 20 is not so bad. Made me feel better about it for a minute. But yeah, all the qualms of Fiverr, and we're just scratching the surface. But don't be discouraged by it. Get on there. It's just like voiceover. It's a lot of rejection. It's a lot of a lot of time, a lot of effort, and you just got to run that marathon.
Yep, it's not a get rich quick scheme by any means. You're not running a sprint, you're running a marathon. You
Mhm.
got to do the work, you got to put work into it, and you will get out of it what you put in. It may take a while and it may not feel
That's
like you're getting anywhere, but you'll
yeah,
get
that's
there.
a good point. That's a good point. So anyway, hope maybe this enlightens you a little bit to some of the things going on Fiverr. We're you know, always happy to help. Like we said, you need help with some ideas on keywords. I know Will can help with thumbnails. You got a thumbnail gig, don't you? Aren't you? Or do
I,
you?
I do. I do have a thumbnail
Yeah,
gig. I don't
I
know how
thought you
much
did.
longer I'm going to keep it up, but
Oh,
I've
okay.
got one.
Well,
Yep.
hurry up and order a thumbnail from Will before he pulls it down because he does some good work. My auctioneer one is probably my favorite one, and he did that one and a couple others for me actually. So, yeah, jump in, and we'll have more to come, I'm sure, on Fiverr, and more discussions over and over week after week about climbing this voiceover ladder. I think it's about time for us to go do something else.
Yep.
Try to go dig through Fiverr or
I
get a
actually
job or
I actually just got a request for an order just now. So
jump on it.
I'm gonna
Jump
go
on it.
go earn my $4.
Yeah, I did 3 YouTubes this morning, and boy, some of the subjects. And you know what's bad, and the one thing we didn't talk about on here was bad scripts. Oh my god, can you get some bad scripts? And this guy, usually they're great. He's one of the higher paying YouTube people, and Yeah, he sent me 3, and the third one, it had to do with, the space battle that's going on between the Tesla guy and the Amazon guy. They both have space companies, so it was talking about their race, to what they're doing. And I kept having to say the word orbital, and it was jammed in with other words, and I could not say it to save my freaking life. It was just one of those days. But anyway, hey, everybody have a good week, and Will and I will be back soon. So, don't cry. Be happy. We'll be back.
That's right.
We'll see you guys.
The Voiceover Ladder is available on Spotify, Apple, and Google. Be sure and subscribe so you don't miss an episode, because we may drop one at any moment. Do we know what we're doing? Not really. But we are learning and making progress, one rung at a time, as we all climb the VO ladder.